Hello everyone, Simona here and thank you for watching. So I recently got a questions from one of the viewers asking how do we know when we are doing too much for someone else? How can we also stop doing too much for someone else? Many of us, when we're in relationship, we start relationship with the sense of wanting to be there for the other person, doing everything that we can for them and making them happy. Our focus can shift from ourselves and maybe other things towards the person that we care and we love. That can happen not just with a lover, but can also happen with children, with friendships, with family relationships, and even at work you can find them just about anywhere. That type of behavior can be established with anyone. If you do it with one, it's very likely that usually we ended up doing it for everyone else. And I say we because been there and done that as well. Um, so the problem with putting so much effort and energy into someone else, even though it's done out of love or because there is so much love and feelings for this person, is that we have the possibility of creating a codependent partnership with this other person. It's great it's a great feeling. It's a great way of showing how much we care for someone by being there for them. But it's inevitable that if the other person or you yourself doesn't have great boundaries, that we ended up doing too much, and the other person becomes, dependent on all this what you're providing. The cause, or again the root source, since I like to go right straight to the root cause, is really the inability. The person hasn't learned to really love themselves completely and fully. And that's something that both people, when there is a codependent relationship, when one is doing too much for the other, is taking the burden on themselves and the responsibility of the other person on themselves to fix everything for them. And the other person is allowing that to happen because they get relief, they feel good, but then they want more, and it's never enough. It's mostly because both people have the inability, or haven't chosen, or been willing, or have understood that what they're missing is really to take the time to love themselves unconditionally first. And what it means to love unconditionally is that the person needs to figure out how to give to themselves just as much as they're willing to give to everybody else. The most common mechanism that we allow this to happen is because there is a sense of we need to be loved, and we need to be loved by doing. The need to be loved is a need, but it doesn't guarantee that you are loved. So the doing becomes a burden, a chore, and a responsibility that ties both people involved, and more than one person, to each other, because there's a constant need of proving that you're doing enough to be loved, that you're being enough to be loved, and that you're there for that person enough to be loved. In truth, you're already loved just for who you are. You don't need proof. You don't need to show it. You don't need to present it in any way. You don't have to do any of that. But it's amazing how we become entangled into these type of behavior because of the good feelings that we get in the beginning of a relationship when we establish a relationship. The person that goes in to give all that obviously never really thinks that it's going to be a never-ending giving. It's usually done in the moment that, and it makes everybody feel good. But those moments then become hours, they turn into days, into weeks, into years, and then it depletes the relationship and the person from the joy of experiencing each other. The best thing to do is to go back into thinking, if you are willing to do just as much for yourself as you're willing to do for everyone else. And if you catch yourself not giving yourself the opportunity or the ability to be there for you, to stand for yourself, to be your best friend, to be your number one, to make yourself your number one, then you're doing a disservice to yourself and to everyone else around you. There's a lot more going on usually underneath all these programmings, But in the gist of it, and just to get to the point, that's usually it. And the cure for it is to not think that you're being selfish by taking time and care to dedicate just as much energy to you as you're dedicating it to everyone else. Because if we all learn to really care for ourselves, to care for our needs, emotional needs, not just the physical needs, we wouldn't be waiting for someone to do it for ourselves. We wouldn't be needing someone to love us for all that we do, are, and act upon. So I hope this helped you. If you have any further questions, if you're interested into hearing any type of answers regarding your emotional self, wound traumas, life, and any other, and physical illnesses as well, you can feel free to contact me through YouTube, Facebook, or my website at www.simonamanenti.com. Have a blessed day. Take care.